please welcome to the stage WWD's style director, Alex Padilla, accompanied by Eva Chen, head of fashion partnerships at Instagram.
Wow.
Thank you so much for being here, guys. Hi, Andrew.
Hi. Oh my God.
We know some people in the audience. So Eva, I've known you for a long time, and I know what you do for a living. I know you, I don't know if you guys know, but Eva she was the editor-in-chief of Lucky magazine. So she came, woo, we love Lucky. Yeah. So she came from paper, so it's so interesting that all of a sudden you decided to make a jump and you went to Instagram. What do you do on Instagram exactly, and why do you decide to go there?
Sure. So thank you for the one person who wooed for Lucky. I appreciate that.
We love Lucky. I still love Lucky.
So I have worked in magazine editorial for like over a decade. I still love print. I love magazines. I love paper. I read books like print books. And I have been working at Instagram now almost for 3 years, and I oversee the fashion department with Virginia, who I have to point out, and Landon, who's trying to make me not point him out. And so in my job, I work with models. We work with models, designers, stylists, fashion publications like Women's Wear Daily. Anything really that touches the fashion world, we're basically like the in-house Instagram like brainstormers. We're helping them understand how to use Instagram better. Because, you know, there's hyperlapse, there's stories, there's live, there's so many things going on with Instagram that people sometimes get a little overwhelmed. So we are there to coach them through it.
To be honest, every time that you and I meet, I leave feeling so energized and full of new ideas. It's true. It's true.
Good.
So how many years has it been? 5 years since Instagram launched?
7.
7.
Plus. I'm looking at Ashley.
Is it 7, Ashley?
It's over 7 years.
7 years.
And 800 million people on Instagram.
Oh my God.
And you know, fashion is so huge on Instagram. People, like the fashion community, whether it's designers or models or, you know, bloggers, it's just, fashion is so vibrant on Instagram, and I am really grateful that the fashion community is just so, it's just such a great community on Instagram. It's very supportive. I'm always discovering new designers and new voices and new talent and new models. So it's a great department to work in.
How do you think Instagram has changed fashion as an industry?
Well, I think fashion's become so much more democratic. I mean, you and I have both worked in the industry for quite a while, and I remember when fashion was literally like, you know, if you were either invited or you were not invited. And if you weren't invited, you found out about fashion like 3 to 6 months later when it came out in a magazine or a print publication. And now, you know, those velvet ropes are down. Like you're part of the crowd. You're able to participate and connect with people. Like if any of you guys are Instagram living this or, you know, posting this on stories, your followers, if they live in Tokyo or Tulsa, are feeling like they're part of the fashion community. So I think Instagram's really democratized fashion and made it possible for anyone to participate in the fashion industry and feel like they have a front row seat.
Talking about fashion shows, we just came from Jason Wu.
Beautiful.
Do you think it was really cute?
It was really nice.
Yeah, I liked it.
He had these like beautiful kind of like towers of flowers. Like
how did they? Do they?
I don't know, but it smelled so good. And
no, it looked really Instagram friendly.
It was really Instagrammy. Yes. I had to like resist doing like in front of it, and then it just smelled amazing. And I think like fashion shows won't ever go away because that physical experience of being somewhere. But the fact that on Instagram stories, if you follow me or Virginia, like you can feel like you're there, like you feel like you're touching the flowers and seeing it. I think it's really special.
So how do you think Instagram has changed fashion shows? Do you think it's changed the way fashion shows are made? Do you think those flowers would have been there at that scale before?
Yeah, I do. I mean, like Alexander McQueen did like a hologram, you know, like Marc Jacobs before Instagram existed had like a marching band and confetti. I don't know if you were at that show with like confetti, and there was like a marching band playing Smells Like Teen Spirit, you know, like Comme des Garçons, like the list goes on. Like fashion shows have always been about spectacle. Like Karl Lagerfeld has always had a flair for the dramatic. I just think now, like when you go to a show, it's like, it's not just for like, you know, 500 people or 1,000 people to experience. The whole world can experience it now. And I think that's really powerful because for me growing up, I didn't really know what fashion editors did. I didn't know what stylists did. I had no idea these careers existed. And I see so many like young faces in the audience, and if you're a student at Parsons or FIT, if you follow Tani Goodman or if you follow like certain editors, you can really understand what they do.
Right.
And it's almost like fashion education in a way.
Right. I mean, I remember I grew up in Spain, and I had to leave Spain. I had to move to England, to London, and then to New York to have a career in fashion. Today, you don't have to do that. I mean, I think one of the reasons is because of Instagram.
Yeah.
I mean, what you guys do for young people is remarkable. You see young people sitting in the front row, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing.
It's so cool. Like I feel very fortunate to have a lot of friends who are like bloggers or from that original generation of bloggers. And if you think about the fact that like Brian Boy is from, I think
He's
from the Philippines,
Yeah,
and he literally just like started posting YouTube videos and posting things on Instagram, and now he's like Brian Boy, you know? So it's like, I think it's great, and you can carve out your own career, whether you're a designer, especially I think for aspiring designers, Instagram is so powerful.
Agreed.
Because it's like, this brand I'm wearing today, it's a Hungarian brand called Nanushka, and it's like, they're super cool, and they reached out to me over DM, and they were like, hey, like, you know, we're trying to launch in the US, can you look at our lookbook? And I was like, your stuff is really cool. And they make these really awesome fake leather puffers. So I ordered one of those, and now I'm like constantly like ordering stuff through Instagram. So it's like the chance to have a global kind of audience on Instagram if you're a young designer, I think is especially powerful.
I need to get me some Nanushka.
Nanushka.
That's
and then
really
also,
cute.
If you look, it's reversible too.
I see.
Their pockets, but like Danielle Cathari, you know,
Yes.
the designer who, she was kind of part of like Kendall Jenner's crew, and she was kind of repurposing Adidas pieces, and then she was reached out to via direct message from Adidas, and yesterday she did like her first show, her first presentation through Instagram direct message. It's kind of amazing.
I know. I was with Nick Galloway, that is the guy who did that, and the story is remarkable.
It's so cool. It's so cool. And like Gucci uses like Instagram illustrators. It's like, so I mean, my advice for the young people in the room, if you're creative and you have a voice and you have a vision, like don't just use Instagram to like post pictures of brunch and your avocado toast, although do that too, like inspo, #brunch, but
I love avocado toast.
yeah, I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Salmon, yeah, it's lovely.
But what I would say is like also use Instagram as a way to further your career. Think about people to reach out to, people to talk to. You never know.
And getting a little completely off topic, can you give us some advice, for example? You know how at times you think you're cluttering your feed with too many posts? Is this such, can you explain that? Because you tell me that every time and I'm like, oh my God, I'm overwhelming my audience, but it's not true. Listen,
All right.
listen.
Are you guys ready to have some like knowledge bombs dropped
Come on.
you?
Write it down
Themselves.
in
All right.
your Samsung.
I like how I'm like rolling up my sleeves.
Do it,
and
do
getting
it.
Into it. Okay. So Instagram 101. So people often are like, oh, I don't want to seem desperate. I don't want to annoy my followers. Like, I know that so-and-so super fancy fashion person follows me. I don't want them to think I'm like trying too hard. All right, guys. So Instagram, very few people follow only you, Alex. I love you, but like most people follow a few hundred people. How many people do you follow with the laptop? 800 in the audience. How about you with the silver puffer or rose gold puffer? At least 1,000.
Yes.
Okay, like I did not plant these people in the audience. I swear to God. Okay. So,
Yeah, the silver puffer. Yeah,
most
very
people,
believable.
silver puffer, Instagram employee. No, I'm kidding. Like, but most people follow like several hundred people at least. So if you're posting like once, well, here is like, well, I only want to post once a week because I want to be mysterious and aloof. And I'm like, oh my God. I don't say, oh my God, I think it. And then I'm like, honey, they're following 799 other people. Like if you post once a week, they're probably not even seeing your post. Instagram doesn't hide posts. We're not shady. It's not like your post will disappear. But your post is buried under, if they follow someone like Chiara Ferrani, who posts anywhere from 5 to 10 times a day, every day, and you post only once a week, your post is like all the way, like someone has to scroll all the way to the bottom of their feed. Now, quick poll, who in the audience gets to the bottom of their feed, like finishes their entire feed? Okay, Anyone up there, all the way up there? Anyone follow? Okay, one person here got to the bottom of their feed out of all the people watching. So it's like, it's just kind of like, don't hold back.
Don't hold back.
Don't feel like you have to like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to annoy people. Just put it out there because like this girl follows 1,000, this girl follows 800. They're like, the more you post, the merrier. And that's also why Instagram stories is so great because like, it's just like post everything on there. It's like people want to see more. More is more for Instagram stories.
So you know how people build the tile, you know, when you... I know. sorry.
Don't get me started on that.
No, it's because
How
it's
long do
really
we
funny.
have,
You look,
Alex?
it's like, that's so pretty, but then who cares, right?
Who cares? No, I'm kidding. But kind of, who cares? Okay, so I have 20 minutes left, and I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes talking about
No, we need to go back to the main concept.
But the main thing, like with the profiles, that you can spend, like, I know people who literally obsess over the way their profile looks. I was once talking to someone who was like, I don't know if you noticed, Eva, but in my grid, there's a dot of blue in every picture. And so from one end to the other, it starts at sky blue and then it goes to navy. What do you think? And I'm like, dude, I did not notice that. Like, I don't know. No time, like, if you have the time and you're artistic and you really want to have a beautiful grid, that's great. But know that most people don't notice those kind of color palettes of the grid. The triple grams usually get broken up, you know, so I wouldn't over stress it. I would spend that time you're spending doing perfect dots of navy blue and sky blue and use that to put more content out there.
Well, now you know, guys.
Now you know.
Please. So let's go back to Fashion Week. Let's talk about Instagram and fashion. Obviously, everyone is talking about diversity today. Very politically charged time. Do you think that Instagram has had a huge effect? I think so, but do you think Instagram has had a huge effect on diversity, inclusivity, and is affecting designers how they cast their shows?
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
Period. Yes, I think nowadays it's like you can't cast all one type of person and not expect to be called out on Instagram about it. Nor should, you know, like, and I think that's right. I mean, I think, look at this audience in this room. There's every skin color, every body type, every like type of person. And this is what the world is like, and this is what fashion should be. It's as simple as that. So I think about all the new and original voices on Instagram. There's a model called Paloma. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I think it's SLR. Her Instagram is Palomijas. And, you know, Pat McGrath found her on Instagram, kind of like launched her. She was recently, and she's like a curvy model, and she recently posed in the, like, nude for Glossier, the beauty brand's Body Hero campaign. And when I read the caption she wrote about what that meant to her as a model to be a part of that movement, it was amazing. I mean, I think in this day and age, it's like there's room for everyone at the table, and everyone should be represented and feel represented.
It's great. It's true. I think that there's been such a shift in the past years towards it, and it feels so right.
Yeah, and look, nowadays, like when people are on Instagram and they point out like, oh, like this whole cast looks this one way. It's just like, that's not
looks
right.
dated.
It looks dated. It looks
dated.
super dated. It's like the opposite of modern.
So, you know, all these companies, not old, young companies, they are always trying to engage with their consumers. They're trying to understand how to do and how to approach Instagram. How do you think is the best way for a company, let's say like Carolina Herrera, just as an example?
Like Herrera?
Carolina Herrera, yeah. What do you think, how should they engage?
Well, Carolina Herrera actually last season did something really cool where they had Cameron, I think it was Cameron Dallas, right? They had Cameron Dallas do a takeover, which was like, you don't really associate Carolina Herrera with Cameron Dallas, but that's not a bad thing. I think that's cool because that meant all of Cameron Dallas's like young teen girl fans were exposed to something new and different. And they showed in a new venue at MoMA, which I think was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I think taking risks is what fashion is about, right? Like fashion shouldn't be the same from 1980 to 1990 to like 2000 to now. Like the whole point of fashion is that it's ever changing and ever evolving. And so I think fashion brands should be taking risks and trying new things.
Right.
Like, you know, they should do presentations, they should do runway shows, they should do Insta shows, like whatever it is they want to do, they should make it like, you know, just kind of, they should just try something new. So I think engaging new consumers is incredibly important because the next generation, I mean, like, I look at this audience, like, you guys are the next generation. And, like, if people want to reach you, it might be through Instagram. It might be through, like, an experience, like what Glossier did with Glossier U when they launched their fragrance. You know, it should just feel, like, fresh. And I think a lot of that freshness is talking to you directly.
Let's talk about influencers. It's at times, Cameron Dallas Carolina Herrera is very interesting because it's so out of the box. Do you think that's the right way to go? Do you think they need to align? Because I think that a lot of fashion brands are always very worried to do things that are on brand.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that is always the right thing to do.
I think it's good to, like, be a little adventurous, you know, because it's like, you know what, in this fashion world, in this fashion cycle, things change so quickly. Cameron Dallas and Carolina, like, for that season was really cool. They could try something completely new this season, and that's what fashion is about, you know? I don't think that everyone is so worried about being on brand, and it's like, that's kind of boring, you know?
No, it's funny you said that because Sophia Shabbat, that is our digital director that I love. She works
best.
with me. She's a digital director for us at Women's Wear Daily. She's always telling me, Alex, it doesn't matter. Let's try new things.
Yes.
Let's just try it. And I think that's such an interesting approach.
Yeah.
I think that it's such I don't know if it's a millennial move, but it's so interesting.
Sophia is so millennial.
She's going to kill me now. She's
Millennial.
going to kill me.
No, I remember, I've known Sophia for, like, we've known each other for, like, a decade probably.
Right.
And I remember when you worked at Saks, and she reached out to me and was like, so I noticed you like shoes. And I was like, I do. And she was like, what do you think about coming and, like, just, like, having fun with some shoes and come and play dress up? And I literally, like, my brain was like, it was, like, great. And this was a time when influencers weren't, like, a thing yet. So I think taking risks is it's just incredibly important.
I also, one thing that I love is we use Instagram as a resource every day. But I think that Instagram has generated a new type of artist that never existed before.
Yeah.
I think that the collages, even just the way people take pictures. Do you guys at Instagram knew you guys were creating a new type of art?
God,
So interesting.
I definitely cannot take responsibility for
Not
it
yet.
personally. But I feel like, I think there's always been this incredible pool of talent in this, like, kind of generation, right? The millennial generation. Right. But Instagram has allowed people to showcase it in a way where it can be easily discovered. So you think about Gucci, for instance, like, they did a collaboration. Gucci, Alessandro Michele has always found his collaborators through Instagram.
Always.
So from the first one with Unskilled Worker to more recently Angelica Hicks, or there was a Instagrammer called Jade Fish. Her Instagram is Mrs. Jade Fish. And she told me this amazing story where she was like, well, you know, I got married and we went up to our honeymoon in Milan, and it was during Fashion Week, and I was standing outside the Gucci show in the rain taking pictures of the people who were there. And then a few weeks later, because she's an illustrator, she started getting DMs from someone named Lalo25, who's Alessandro. At the time, he wasn't verified, and she was just like, wow, this guy really likes churches and, like, wearing thick athletic socks with his loafers. Who is this guy? And he would come to my studio, and she was like, I don't know, is this weird? And then basically he was like, oh, Florence, and please email this email address at blah, blah, blah at Gucci.com. And she was like, ah!
Right.
And then one season later, her illustrations were, you know, on a skirt that was walking down the runway. She was sitting next to Stephen Klein in the front row. And it's like a fashion fairy tale. And of course, listen, that's like the dream, right? But
Right.
it just does prove, though, that if you have talent and you're putting it out there, and you are a little bit vulnerable because you're putting your art out there onto this platform with 800 million people, but you don't know where it'll lead you. So why not take that risk?
Yeah, I think that, like, for me personally, the idea of the selfie at the beginning was so, I don't know, intimidating. And because it's like putting yourself out there, but you need to understand there's a different type of reality in a way.
Yeah, but also it's like, I don't think everyone needs to do selfies. Like, I don't think, if you don't like doing selfies, don't do selfies. Like, we get that question all the time where, like, I'll meet with a designer and they'll be like, oh, Eva, but I don't like selfies, so what am I going to do on Instagram? And I'm like, dude, you don't have to do selfies. Like, it's like there's so many different ways to show your work. Like Josep Font from Del Pozo, which is like the most beautiful.
Josep Font, I love.
Like, oh, I love him. And if you look at Josep Font, it's Josep Font C, I think is his username. There are a few portraits of him, but there are basically no selfies. It's very curated. He's doing his kind of like sketches, and it's beautiful, and it reflects him. And then Olivier's Instagram reflects him. Marc Jacobs' Instagram reflects him. You know, like everyone's Instagram should reflect themselves. Like Virgil's Instagram, Virgil Abloh, who I like, I'm obsessed with. Obsessed. Like obsessed.
No,
so like
really kind, really.
No, really
Yeah,
obsessed.
yeah.
I am like. Do you guys follow him? I'm obsessed with him because he always does quote. Okay, that was like an inside joke. But anyway, sorry, awkward.
He loves quotes.
He does quotation
quotations.
marks.
Yeah.
So
inside joke.
like Virgil, I'm super obsessed with, and it's like he's barely in his Instagram. You know, it's like all like his matcha latte that he's obsessed with, or his Vuitton bag that he just bought. Like, I think there's a right way for everyone to do Instagram. I don't think it's one size fits all, but that's what's so great about it.
So let's talking about, I mean, I'm always, obviously, Instagram during Fashion Week, at the shows, wherever I am. When it comes to Fashion Week, do you know what performs best? And this is just selfishly for me. Sorry.
Video.
Video, thank you. Sophia always says that.
So do video.
Yes. Can you explain why video is?
Well, video during Fashion Week is really great because, and I was looking at an example from Christopher Kane the other day, and he did 2 images on his Instagram feed. He did one, it was like a sequined dress from last season. One was a photo, and then one was a video. And it's like when
side by side?
the dress, they were like 6 posts apart-ish. But when the skirt was moving and it was like kind of flashing in the light and shimmering versus the photo, it's like video really brings fashion to life. So, and you have a really great seat at shows. So you should take advantage and do videos. I think that's really important. Fashion people often will kind of look down on hashtags. Like people...
You know, that's so true.
Fashion people are like, ugh. Hashtags.
You know what happens to me when I put a hashtag? I sometimes say grateful because I'm grateful.
Yes.
And then I am.
Hashtag grateful.
Why not? Hashtag grateful.
Yes.
And then I'm walking around and some fashionista says hashtag grateful. And he's giving me shade. Why is that?
I feel like I know who, I feel like I know who is giving you shade.
Yeah, we'll talk about this.
We will talk about that person later. But okay, so Virginia and I were once in a meeting with like a French designer, and the French designer was like, ugh, hashtags, so vulgar. Like, you know, like, ugh,
oh my God, the French
so
accent makes it so much better.
Tacky. And I was literally like, okay, hashtags. Hashtags, fashion people find very polarizing because they think it's like, fashion people like everything to be clean. If your Instagram could be just like white, that's what fashion people want. It's very Celine, very white space, very like, you know, just curated.
Curated.
Hashtags are an amazing way to tap into communities, like whatever it is you love. It could be slime. Do you guys know about this like slime obsession? Like people like, it's very soothing to watch people like do slime. So it's like hashtag slime, hashtag avocado toast, hashtag whatever it is you're interested in. You can tap into this community, and now you can follow hashtags. So if you love fashion, following hashtag NYFW or hashtag Bella Hadid, if you were a big Bella Hadid fan. You know, it's like a great way to tap into your interests.
Can we talk also about quality of video? Because a lot of people think that you need a professional video. But it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, so a lot of people think that unless it is shot on, like, you know, a Canon, I don't even know, X Pro 56.5, 24, fancy, you know, it's like that you should not post it on Instagram, that it has to be perfect. And time again, what actually performs better, and Virginia and I see this over and over again with a lot of the models and designers we work with, it's images shot on a mobile device. So like your Samsung Note, you know, or whatever mobile device you use in this audience, you know, like don't worry if it's not perfect, if it's slightly blurry. It makes it feel more real and more authentic. So like go for it.
There is a difference between a monologue and a dialogue. I think that some companies like Gucci, for example, or Virgil, Off-White, they're very good about a dialogue with the consumer. They constantly are interacting. If anyone has a company here or they are trying to build an audience, can you explain how to execute a dialogue versus a monologue?
I mean, I think that...
I'm getting very specific, but
totally.
I think that's really...
I think like if you're launching a brand and you're DMing people and you're responding to comments, I mean, I think I used the Glossier example already, but Glossier, like when they respond to their followers who ask questions like, hey, I really want to buy this blush, they write back immediately. It's like basically like customer service over Instagram. And I think it's great just to have that dialogue. And I think that's a new way for people to think, right? Because like 10 years ago, you just put things out there, you put them into the universe, and then it's like you're on to the next campaign. But you can't just do that anymore. You have to do more than that. The responsibility is on the brand or the personality to kind of engage back. But I think that's amazing. It makes you feel so much closer to a brand. I know that, like, I was once talking to a pretty big agent, and she was like, you know, I used to shop at this department store, but you know what's funny? I switched department stores recently. I'm like, why? And she was like, because the other department store would always respond to my Instagram questions about if they had my size.
That's incredible.
And it's kind of, it sounds like so basic, but if someone's asking you, like, is this still available in a size 8? And the department store DMs you back and is like, it's still available in a size 8, call this number. It makes a huge difference, and you've completed a sale right there.
When it comes to Instagram stories, I'm sorry, I'm asking you all these questions.
Oh no, I love it.
Technical. You know, at times you post so much on Instagram stories. Is it the same concept as posting? Should you post so much, or it doesn't matter?
Okay, so Instagram stories, basically, first of all, the maximum number of posts, in case you guys are curious, the maximum number of posts you can do on Instagram stories in a 24-hour period is 100. a lot. It's a lot, guys. It's a lot, and we know this because 2 seasons ago, there was a fashion house that tried to post like 150 images in 24 hours. So 100 is the maximum. Just keep that in mind for those really busy days you have. I feel like those really busy days you have. I think
a lot of avocado toast.
Yeah, you're just like nonstop shuffling avocado toast into your mouth. I think the most I've ever posted is probably like 50.
Yes.
Like, and the dashes up top turned into teeny tiny, really small dots. But I think usually like 40 to 50 is the most I've done. But Instagram stories, but like Virginia watched every single one of those 100 Instagram stories. Like, and it was very good content. It was great content.
So that was my next question.
Yeah, it was good content. I mean, at the end of the day, like, if the great thing about Instagram stories is that if people lose interest or they have to like get off the phone or they're back in class and the professor is like, put your phone away, like, you know, you just swipe away, you could skip on to the next one. So it's really low pressure Instagram stories, and it's meant to be low pressure. It's about sharing those everyday moments. And for feed, it's like, there's no like silver bullet. There's no like, oh, you have to post once a day, you have to post 10 times a day. Post like what you want, but remember that it's not just the highlights of your life that should make it onto feed. What people tend to like actually is the more everyday.
You should listen to this because this is so true.
Because I think for me, it's like, I know I can do an experiment. I could post a picture of like me outside a fashion show, like kind of, I mean, this is not how I pose, by the way. It's like so great. I could do a picture of me standing outside a fashion show looking like kind of like posed, but then I could also post a picture of me in the back of a taxi eating, this has like actually happened like an hour ago, eating ziti from a cardboard box. And like literally like those 2 pictures, I know that the unposed one is going to do better. Like the one that's like not me looking like perfect, but the one that's showing a real side of my life. That's like, New York Fashion Week is so crazy. I never have time to eat lunch. So I'm making Virginia,
truth,
yeah, and I'm making Virginia smell this garlic rigatoni pasta.
Oh, we spoke about the garlic before.
Yeah, the garlic. Yeah. I was like, I'm really sorry, Alex. I smell like garlic right now.
She said that, yeah.
So yeah, it's the realness. Just remember, the realness is what people actually want.
So what's next?
From Instagram?
Yes,
oh, gosh.
because
if I told you, I would.
I'm sorry, I love the gifts. I'm loving the gifts.
Yeah, so
they're hysterical. Put more cats, please.
Yeah, more cat gifs.
I love the cat. I love putting cats in people's shoulders of walls. I love it.
Oh my God, amazing.
It's so cute.
So GIF stickers just launched. I want to say like 2 weeks ago. We launched Type recently, so you can now do posts with like different fun fonts. Like I like the one. I don't want to say it looks like Supreme, but it looks like Supreme.
The neon.
I love it.
Yes.
So the Supreme font, I did not just call it Supreme, but I like the italicized, strong font. So I like that one. So that just launched recently. It's great to be able to follow hashtags because if you have weird random interests, you can follow those weird random interests. And yeah, like there are many more things in the pipeline. We recently launched Valentine's Day filters in Instagram stories, which is really fun. So we have one that's like, you kiss you make it like kind of kissy face and then like little lips kind of fly away. So yeah, there's always something new around the pipeline, and that's why it's so fun to work there, because there's always something new that's about to happen.
And obviously, what everybody wants to know, how do you gain followers? And with these, we finish.
Yes.
How do you gain followers?
I'm like beginning to sweat.
I know, because that's what everybody wants to know.
Makes
You
me
see how
sweat.
people are nodding, yeah.
Usually I make Virginia answer this question.
Virginia, you want to come up here?
No, she's like, God, no.
She's like, no.
She's like, Eva has to take this one.
Because I get questions from designers all the time.
Of course.
All the
Okay.
time.
So people are obsessed with gaining followers. People are always like, I need to get to the next 1,000. I need to get to the next 100,000. I need to get, in some cases, to the next 10 million. And I'm like, dude, like first world problems, you have 10 million followers, calm down. Like,
Calm down.
But basically, one thing to remember about Instagram is like, it's not just about the followers. The stronger relationship you have with your existing followers, the more followers you will naturally get. So basically, it's like Instagram is about connections. It's about like, you know, making relationships with people. And so if you are a brand and you are, and you have 50,000 followers, really try to maximize your relationship with that 50,000 followers, because if those 50,000 followers, if one of them has 300 followers and someone is commenting or, you know, liking your post, like it creates this ripple effect. So a lot of people, you know that like it's called Explore on Instagram. It's that icon with the magnifying glass.
Yes.
So a lot of people are like, how do I show up in Explore? Like, can you put me in Explore? And no, I can't. I'm not like,
no.
You're an Explorer. It has to do with the connections you make, and which is why it's so important to have strong connections with your existing followers. So for instance, if you post a picture from Jeremy Scott of Gigi Hadid, like walking down the runway, and you're like, love Gigi, and Gigi likes it, Gigi's followers are more likely to see that your post in their Explorer. Does that make sense? It's like that kind of 6 degrees of separation.
Yes.
So if Virginia posts a picture of herself working out and like dying, which she did yesterday, and I comment on it and like it, my followers then see it. So that's another thing about fashion people is they're like, I really never like other people's photos because I am so mean and fashion and exclusive. And I don't like them and I don't comment because I'm too cool. And it's like, like, comment, it just spreads the love and it creates this ripple effect in this community that's what Instagram's all about.
We need the love.
We need the love.
We need the love. Okay, so now we're going to open it to question and answers from the audience, so feel free to ask questions. You can ask me too. Just kidding. It's her.
Hi.
Hi.
Actually, my puffer's gold, but
Now we know. It's gold. It's a gold puffer. No,
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
it's a bad joke. I want to know your take on bloggers or influencers who kind of want to like beat the algorithm or those kind of attitudes. So what's your take on that?
That alarm is,
Made me so
it's
nervous.
because of that question. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question is for bloggers or influencers who want to beat the algorithm. Okay, so
The algorithm sounds like the enemy. I'm just
the
wanna let you know.
algorithm, okay, so there are certain things that people just like to say. Okay, people like to say bomb cyclone. Remember a few weeks ago?
Oh my God.
People were like, oh my God, the bomb cyclone. People like to say shadow banning because it sounds really sexy and mysterious. And people like to say the algorithm because it sounds like it's like the man. All right, so basically, here's the deal with the algorithm. It got really quiet in this room.
No, because this
Oh
is
my
amazing.
God,
What
so
you
much
said is
pressure.
like true.
Everyone's like, algorithm. Okay, here's the deal with the algorithm. We know at Instagram that most people are missing over 70% of their feed. Okay, so you follow 1,000 accounts. You follow 1,000 accounts, you said, right? Do you think you see most of your feed on any given day? No. So the reason why we changed from a purely chronological, I don't even know, is it okay that I'm like answering this question in a huge audience? Okay, good, just checking.
She would have
I don't wanna,
stopped us.
Get fired after this, okay? So the reason why we changed from pure chronological to this new algorithm, evil algorithm, evil, is because most people are missing their feed. So your sister-in-law could have had a baby and you wouldn't know it because it's chronological. And Kim Kardashian posted 56 things of her walking down the street in Yeezy. You know, like you just don't know because it would have been buried under chronological. So we changed it because of that reason. We know that people want to see like the people they care about or the accounts they care about. So everyone in this room could follow the same 5 accounts. Let's say Kim Kardashian, WWD, Samsung, Virginia, and your sister-in-law. And everyone, I'm really like blowing up your sister-in-law's
I know,
spot,
right?
by the way. She's getting a lot of promotion right now. But basically, we could all follow the same 5 accounts, but we would each have a different feed based on how you engage with those 5 people. So if you are liking and commenting on Virginia more than Kim Kardashian, when you open Instagram, you'll see her first. So that's why it's really important to like and comment on things that you like and want to comment on, because it will show you those accounts first. So in terms of how to like improve the algorithm for yourself or game the algorithm, basically you want to create content that people will like and comment on, right? So part of that is showing more authentic behind the scenes stuff, not just showing the finished look, but showing how you got there. Showing video is really great because people tend to engage more. Like people love video and they tend to like watch it over and over. One thing though is that I find that people get obsessed with the number of likes that videos get, which is not the right thing to obsess with. With videos, try not to obsess with your likes, but look at the views instead. Because think about the last time you watched a video on, for instance, YouTube. Did you press thumbs up or thumbs down on the latest Justin Bieber video? No. Probably not, but you might have watched that Justin Bieber video 6 times in a row, and that's how you show you like it, so focus on the views. But really focus on making content that's like really engaging, and then also engage back with your current followers. That's the best way to like beat the algorithm, so to speak.
Hi, I'm Veronica Apson, and I'm a fashion designer graduating this May from FIT.
Congratulations.
And thank you so much. And I'm entrepreneurial, and I have my own fashion TV channel based here in New York.
Wow.
And my question is, what are the most important things you look for in making a fashion partnership with Instagram?
Well, see, like partnerships is a really vague term, which kind of like stresses me out sometimes because like people don't know what it means. Sometimes there are days I don't know what it means either. But I think the most important thing when in terms for you of using Instagram to kind of promote you said you're a designer, right?
Yes.
To promote your designs and to promote your is like, you know, using hashtags properly, reaching out to people who you think would be good ambassadors for you, trying to get in informational interviews. Like you should be Sorry, Alex. You should be DMing Alex, who's the style director of women's wear, to
Definitely
be
will.
like, I met you at the panel.
You too?
Like, I would love 15 minutes of time with you to like ask you about how to launch my brand. Use Instagram as a platform to connect with people. It's amazing. Like, I've met so many designers through Instagram, and of course, like, reach out to people whose style, like, you know, kind of fits with yours. So many people have reached out to me over Instagram. I get so many DM that it's hard to get through them all. I get like a few hundred a day, but like, on occasion, when I do go through, it's like I really find people to talk to that I connect with aesthetically. So I think for you, it's like maximizing Instagram will be about using it as a platform to spread your product, but also comment on other people's posts, like other people's posts, and really try to get involved with the community.
Good advice.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Hi, how are you? My name is Ziti. I have a question. So you were talking about followers. What's your opinion about private accounts and public accounts on Instagram?
So the question is private accounts versus public accounts on Instagram. Well, I mean, I like a public account because like, but I also am kind of like, whatever, like my life is an open book. I think if you want to have a private account, absolutely have a private account. You could also have both. You can have because you can link accounts now. So like if you have 2 accounts, you can go back and forth between them pretty easily by going into settings and you type in add account and you can put a second account and then you can switch back and forth between a private and a public. A lot of people have what are called Finstagrams. You guys know what Finstagrams are, right? It's like the moms in the room might not know what it is. It's like a fake Instagram so that if your teen daughter is like, hi mom, I'm on Instagram, and it's her like holding her report card with straight A's, but then a Finstagram is her like standing upside down drinking from a keg. I mean, not really, but Finstagrams sometimes are more private. So I think you can do both. It's totally up to you. If you are trying to grow a brand or you're trying to be like a public figure or a blogger or an influencer, it should probably be public because people are not going to be able to find you that way otherwise.
Interesting.
Hi, Eva. Oh, hi. Here.
Hi.
So it's great to see you on Instagram all the time. My Instagram question is, how many hashtags is too many hashtags in one post?
Ooh, this is a good question. Okay.
Good question.
So I have a friend who went through a phase where every word she posted in a caption was a hashtag. So she literally would be like, hashtag 8, hashtag A, hashtag great, hashtag bacon, hashtag lettuce, hashtag tomato, hashtag sandwich, hashtag BLT. And I was like, oh my God. So I had to text her. I was like,
Oh my God.
OMG, Christine. Her name is Christine.
Don't say last name.
Christine, can you please stop with the hashtags? I personally, it's up to you, but I personally think like 3 is enough, because otherwise it looks kind of spammy. So I'm not fully in the Celine camp where it's like I need everything to be white space. I don't need everything to be super clean, but I think 2 to 3 hashtags is enough, personally. But that's a personal question. But like, I personally would not do more than 3.
It's very good to know.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
My name is Suzette, and it's more of a personal question that I have. So I know that you have a background as a pre-med student. So I wanted to ask, what made you kind of give that up and do what you are doing today? Because I just recently graduated with a BA in biology, and I was pursuing a career in med school, and I kind of wanted to know, like, why did you choose, or how did you make that decision? Because I'm kind of at the border of that.
Have you taken your MCATs yet?
I have not.
Okay. So, how badly do you want to be a doctor? Like, does it feed your soul?
Well, I'm also a model, so that feeds my.
I was about to say, you seem like you're a model. You've got a good look going on. Listen, I think that for me, it was like I did an internship between junior and senior year of college, and I basically was like, it was like a come to Jesus moment where I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. I never knew that people could work in magazines. I think that you have to do what's right for you. If you are kind of like meh about being a doctor, or you're like not sure, like you should, I'm not saying don't do it, but like you should find something where it's like, it will feed your soul and it will make you super excited to wake up every morning. A job is a job. At the end of the day, it's not like, not every day can be so perfect and great, but you should be like 80% happy in the career you're going into. And with like a biology degree, like a lot of people obsess over like what should I major in, like to work at Facebook, to work at a magazine, to do this, to do that, to be a sports agent, whatever it is. Your major actually does not matter that much. Mm-hmm. But what matters is work experience, like internships, and curiosity. So if you want to work in fashion, whether it's as a stylist or an editor, and you have a biology degree, that's okay. But what you need to do is like you will need to talk to people. I keep telling people to like DM Alex.
You can.
DM Alex or Sophia, and basically ask people for what's called an informational interview. Just say like, I graduated from blah, blah, blah with a degree in biology, but I love fashion. I'm still figuring out what I want to do. If you have 10 minutes, and be considerate of people's schedules. Right now it's Fashion Week, so don't be like, can I come in next week? Alex is going to be in Milan, you know? Like, be like, I'm like literally like his scheduler.
Yeah, don't do it now.
Email me and I'll schedule it with Alex.
Thank you. Call her to get to me.
Yeah, but basically, like, ask people and say, like, I really want to hear more about what you do. I know that you started at this magazine and then went here. Like, can I have 10 minutes of your time? I'll bring you a Starbucks. I just want to pick your brain. Of the 10 people you email, or you'll have to email 50 people to get like 5 responses. Mm-hmm. But one of those 5 people might help you, which you never know what could happen.
Thank you.
I'm letting you guys choose the questions because I feel a lot of pressure. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Elena Sandona, and I'm creative director at a small brand. It's called Feel Good First, and I'm very thankful because you wore one of our pieces last season. Winter.
Cool.
And we have various concepts.
Is it the Feel Good Furs?
Yeah, we recycle fur.
Yeah.
We use food byproducts.
I think I'm like getting a big shearling from you. I'm borrowing one. Like the one with the pink straps?
Hopefully, yeah. So my question is, when I started the brand, it's really small. Mm-hmm. My personal account is around 1,000 followers, mm-hmm. and my brand account is 200.
200,000 or 200 people?
200, not 200,000.
Okay.
I'd be happy.
Okay.
So they told me that I need to hire some social media experts and, people that know better than me in order to increase my followers. So do small brands need to do that in order to have a successful Instagram?
That's a great question. I don't think, I think it depends. If you have someone on your team, or if you have the time and the energy to create the Instagram feed, like, you know, an Instagram kind of immersive experience where people, but I don't really think you need to hire someone if you have the eye and if you're able to update it regularly. That's the thing. A lot of the time, I know that doing Instagram can feel like work, you know, but you have to find the everyday moments. Like, people want to see the behind the scenes of, like, and also for your brand, it's like, I don't think people know that it's like recycled. I don't think people know that. People just hear the word fur and they're like, blah, blah, but it's like, it's actually eco and green because you're repurposing like vintage and you're repurposing other pieces.
This is what it would
So, and I think you have to, whether it's you or someone on your team, someone has to be able to tell that story daily. So I don't do you need to hire?
So they don't do, like, experts don't do something more? I mean,
No, I mean, not really. They might understand Instagram better, but it's nothing you couldn't learn on your own.
Thank you very much.
Sounds like an interesting story. Yes, you should tell it.
DM Alex.
Yes, DM Alex. Why did I think?
so sorry.
What was I thinking?
His inbox is going to be like.
Great.
Hi.
Hi.
Eva. I'm Shai, and I come all the way from the Philippines.
Wow.
Okay, so my question for you is that I've been following you since your Teen Vogue and Tumblr days.
Okay.
Great.
And so
Tumblr?
much has,
Whoa,
and so much
OG.
has changed since then. So
Yes.
we've got fashion and technology merging and rules changing every second. So I guess my question is, any tips on how we could all keep up, or at least try? And also, where do you think we're headed next?
Well, I think, you know, I think basically when something new comes out, explore it, see if it's right for you, see if it's something that you would enjoy. Like, I don't think that you should join platforms and do it if you hate it. I recently, well, like a year ago, I joined a different platform, which is like lip syncing to music videos.
Oh, that, yeah.
Oh, it was really embarrassing. I did like one, and I was like, basically like, I'm never doing this again, because it is
Embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know, I think you should do what gives you joy and gives you happiness, whatever it is. Like, I genuinely enjoy posting to Instagram stories. I love posting to Instagram. I love answering questions from my followers on Instagram. You probably remember I used to do that a lot on Tumblr too. Like, I would answer follower questions on Tumblr. So, I mean, I think that it's just really important to do what you like, no matter what it is, whether it's technology or whether it's personal. Like, do what you like, because when you're happy and you enjoy something, I think people can tell, you know, and they can tell that you're doing it because you actually like it. So, also, I really like your red beret, and I also like your kitten sweater.
I know, I love the
so much.
kittens.
FYI.
Unfortunately, we have no more time. They're making signs.
They're
Eva,
like,
thank you so much.
Thank
This was
you.
awesome. Wasn't she awesome?
thank you.
You were awesome. Thank you. We should do this every day.
Every day. DM Alex every day, guys. Every day. And follow him. He's amazing. Alex Badia.
Yes.
Adia. Badia.
So thank you. Oh.
It's great. Are you going to Bottega too?
Yes. Can you guys please stay because we're not done?
Oh.
So, yes, of course. Stay. We're not done.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you tonight.